to this brief tutorial on how to access our learning management system, also known as Populi. I'm beginning today on our regular website at ccbs.edu, and if you'll notice at the top there's a blue menu bar where several of the links are that you'll use over and over again. You probably no doubt applied through that link. You have already seen your email or seen a video perhaps about how to access your email. But today we're just going to use this link here for My Populi. Now you should have already received credentials on how to access Populi, but basically you get a username that has your first initial and your last name and then the year that you began. We have our friendly student here, John Doe, and we're going to log in as John today and check out what Populi looks like from the student view. So all I'm going to do is click login. I encourage you to use a bookmark for your website, and once you get into Populi, go ahead and set Populi as a bookmark. And the reason for that is if for whatever reason the website, our website, ccbs.edu is down, that does not mean that Populi is down, and so we want you to be able to access it on your own. The link for it is right up here, ccbs.populiweb.com, and again, in your particular web browser, you can just add a favorite or add a bookmark, and I would encourage you to do that. There's several things on the screen that I want to just highlight for you. Some of them will go into more depth, and others will just trust that you'll look at in due time. But at the very top, there's a black management bar, menu bar. There's a series of files in this link. Sometimes your student ministry handbook will be there. The catalog for the current year is there. Some of the different forms like withdrawal forms, things like that. Some of those are housed there for all of our students to get to at any time. Then there's the calendar, kind of a general calendar. Honestly, we don't keep that calendar up to date as well as other avenues like the website and things like that. But it's a good place to check before going to ask your instructor, at least identify the calendar and see if there's anything there. We do have an in-house bookstore, but that bookstore is for some of our textbooks that we use on campus. But we also have some paraphernalia in there, some swag, if you will. So if you're interested in wearing a CCBS t-shirt or having a coffee mug or whatever, I would encourage you to go to the bookstore and order it. And if you're an online student, please let us know. We'll try to get you that in the mail, but that's how you would order that, is through the bookstore. Then also you'll see here there's a link to our library, and we'll come back to that perhaps in a minute. On the far right, two very important parts. There's a picture of John, and then beside that, you'll see there are some important links here. One, that's how you would log out. On the settings page, there is some basic information in here about your time zone. That's very important so that we know where you are. You can actually create a signature for your emails. Important here is this is the security page where you would change your password if you needed to do that. If for whatever reason you want to use two-step login approval, this is where you would do that, and this is how you would have the particular computers that you log into. Looks like I need to clean mine up, from where you can just kind of recognize what's going on. And then notifications, this is very helpful as well. If you put your mobile number in here and then send for the verification code, what you're basically doing is giving us permission to text you as necessary. We don't use it very often. Today is actually a snow day here on campus, and so it would be helpful if you lived in the area and you wanted to know whether or not the campus was open or closed, or if something like an emergency threat was going on campus and you wanted to be notified about that, or general information like that. This is a very important step, but you have to basically give us permission to mass text you from the system. And again, there's a few other notifications there as well. And then very helpful is this orange help button. And so you can go here into the knowledge base and ask questions and find videos. In fact, we'll just take a moment to look there briefly. When you get in here, all you'll need to do is, for the domain, is to type in CCBS. It kind of gives you permission to go into the back side of that. doesn't want to behave for me for some reason. But nonetheless, when you go in here, there are some ways for you to look at some of the activities. Looks like it signed me into the help desk. Here we go. But this is normally where you would go to first as a student. And if you go into here, it will take you where you can watch some videos and get some explanations on how to do things. If you're not sure how to do something, it's as easy as typing it into this little search bar, and then it will help you learn how to do that. So that's a very helpful tool, and just want to encourage you to use that when in doubt. So let's go back to our main screen here. The college management screen is where you are going to live most of your life as a student here at CCBS. So let's just highlight a few of those. Number one is the alert section. Things here will come up if they're important for you. For example, you'll see here that I have a financial aid application that's in progress. I have a financial aid application that has offered awards. If there's something there, that means there's something that I as a student need to do. And so that's very important to make sure that stays clear. You may miss a financial aid letter, you may miss an invoice, you may miss something as simple as registration, although we do all that for you. But very important to go there, just click on it. It will take you to the important part of that page, and you can take care of that information. Also, you'll see below that what we call the feed. This is kind of a news feed. Certain things will pop up. For example, today is John McNair's birthday. And you can go in here and wish John a birthday wish and congratulate him on that. You'll also see we post general campus information here. Just recently, there was a really good deal on some ebooks, and we posted that to our students, et cetera, et cetera. Sometimes you'll even have students who will post on different instructors' pages. Those will show up if you're following. It's kind of like a college Facebook page, if you will. And so it depends on how many people you're following, keeping up with, as to what will show up there. Over on the right, you'll see what's called events. And this is an area if you have courses showing up, or you have events coming up. This particularly is a class that I'm in, or John Doe is in, that's going to start on Tuesday. Disregard the time, and that's just there to kind of help us to put it somewhere. And then most importantly for your courses is down here in the bottom right hand corner is what it says courses, and whatever you are currently in will show up. And so let's just take a moment to look at this. Currently, I'm not in a course. We're actually on break between winter A and winter B. But if I were to go in here and go to winter A, I can see that I was in Doctrine of the Church. And then my next course is coming up in winter B, and then I will be in hermeneutics. And so this kind of helps you as a quick link to get into your course, and we'll look at that again in just a moment. The other thing that you see here on this page is a link at the top called My Profile. This is where you update your personal information for the college. The bulletin board, again, acts somewhat like a Facebook feed, and so you can see I've got we're having a little fun here between me and Wesley and one of my students, Carolyn, and of course Bethany's in there. This is a picture of my youngest son, and so we're just laughing about his picture. But then notice here it says info, and here's where you would update your information. Make sure that your phone number is in there. Make sure we know if you have a mobile number, so that way we can track you that way as well. Then you will have your email addresses in here, and the one that should have the star beside it is the one that has ccbs.edu. So you can have multiple emails in here, and that's fine. We encourage you to have lots of forms of communication, but the one with the star, the primary email, must be your ccbs.edu. And if anytime you change it, when we find it, we'll change it back, because we're required to send all student-related information to your student email. Also, your address here, this is very important for you to keep up to date. If you were to receive a financial aid refund, we will mail it to this address. The business office goes into your Populi account. They find out your address. That's where they send your refund check. So for example, if you were to get a refund check, but you recently moved and you didn't give us your address, then likely you will not receive that check, or it will be very delayed, and that may cause you troubles. Also, your books will be shipped to the address that you have here in the info screen. And so make sure that we know your residential address. If you have a different shipping address, make sure we know that as well. And then you should be able to access this other information file and make sure that you identify your denomination, your home church, your pastor, your marital status. I think there's a few other options in there as well. That just helps us with our demographics and helps us to stay in contact with your church as we do some publicity and share with the churches in our area all that is going on at CCBS. That would be great. Then the next tab is your student tab. This gives you all the courses that you have completed and that you've transferred in. You'll be able to go here and look at the degree audit, for example, and see your GPA. Poor little John Doe hadn't completed any classes yet. He's just kind of working along. We use him as our dummy student, but you can see he's working on his Bachelor's of Arts in Biblical Studies. He's in this particular calendar year. It's anticipated that he might graduate in January 2021. But this date is somewhat bogus, arbitrary. That depends on the rate at which you complete courses, etc. It is just mainly put in there when you create an account with us, and then it does not necessarily update itself. And so sometimes the registrar keeps that tracking as well. But again, this page helps you to see everything. If you click here, you'll see where it says Export Degree Audit. You can click this button and it will open up a page that shows you every course that you need to complete the program here. So because he's in the bachelor's and does not have an undergrad, an associate's, he has to take the associate's core, all these 20 courses, as well as the bachelor's core. And as you take courses, you'll see that a grade shows up. He has IP, that means it's in progress. That's either a course that he's in or that he's registered for. And then once that course has been finalized, a grade will go there and he'll get credit. If you see 2 dashes and to the right of it, it will say transferred in, and that means that you transfer that in from some other course or some other program. So this is a very helpful way for you to stay up to date with how you're doing in the program, how much longer you have in the program, etc. Don't worry about the registration tab. This is for predominantly for our campus students. However, it will show up on the online team from time to time, but the online registrar will take care of all registration for the online program. It shows up here because he's actually enrolled in both programs. Again, he's kind of a dummy student. And then last on this page is the financial page. Here's where you can see all of your account information, all the invoices that are pending, all the payments that have done. You can go in here and see your financial aid, and there'll be things here that you'll need to make sure that you understand and complete. Then, of course, on the dashboard, you can see that little John is behind his payments and he needs to make a payment. And he can go in right here and make that payment through your bank account and set that up. And this is just makes your life a little bit more convenient. Now, with all that said, and I know that's a lot, I want to take you into a course and show you a little bit about what you will see as a student in a course. Because we are between terms, I'm going to show you both a course that is wrapping up as well as a course that is yet to begin. So let's click on Doctrine of the Church and let's look at this same list. Notice that the gray bar here has changed to be relative to the course. And so we have dashboard, info, assignments, etc. On the dashboard, this is where your instructor, in this case, Dr. Bullard, and his students have interacted. Sometimes instructors use this more than others, but it's a good way to post general information to the class. You can also post there and it will go to the instructor and all the class members. However, most instructors prefer you to send them a direct email rather than posting on the bulletin board for 2 reasons. One, their emails go directly to their inbox. They check those regularly. But also, if you were to put something on there about a question or a grade, or maybe you're mad at the instructor, basically you've just put it out there for the entire class to see, and that's probably not where you wanted to post that information. So instead of doing that, just send it to the instructor directly. But sometimes this is used for general information. On the right, well, let's go here to the alerts. If you have something, a grade or feedback from your instructor or discussion post, that'll show up here. And then, of course, over on the right, as your grades are being tabulated by instructor, you'll see that show up here. Anything that's coming up in the next 7 days will show up here. And then interactions in your discussion boards will show up here to let you know. And when you see the blue link, the blue number, that means somebody has posted and you need to go in there and check that out. The info page is just that. It's basic information on the course. Again, this idea of when it meets, that's arbitrary for our online program. Just know that your course week starts on Tuesday, runs through Monday. That's pretty much what that means. From time to time, you'll see links in here. Here's one to tutor.com, which is a writing center program that we have, and we'll teach you more about that as we go. Here are the required books, and these should have already been purchased for you, but if you want to check it out, you can go here. If you are purchasing your own books and you have signed the textbook agreement, then we would encourage you to use this link. You can click right here. It'll take you directly to Amazon.com. It will pull up that book. You can get it in whatever version you want, and then you can buy it. And that way you know that you're getting the right one. Otherwise, just use this ISBN number, and that will help you as well. Then in the file section, you will see the 6 documents. Almost every course has 6 basic documents. The first is the syllabus, kind of gives you an overview of the course, general parameters, the book list, and kind of the model of what you're going to do. Then for each of the 5 weeks of the course, there's a document. If you'll see, these are all hyperlinks, and if you click on it, it will open up. You can read every bit of it online. Give it a second and it'll upload. Or you can go to the menu bar in the top right, those 3 dots, and you can download the PDF versions, usually the best for our students. Or if there's something you need to edit and then resend to your instructor, download the original PDF and that works fine. And then you can, of course, just exit that and go on. If you need to email the instructor, you'll see his name here, and it'll take you to his page where you can go under his picture and then send him a direct email that will get directly to him instead of posting it out there for the world to see. Now, continuing through the course page, there are assignments. This shows you how your grades break down, and then this shows you every assignment and then what it's worth, when it's due, etc. And over here you'll see what letter grade you got in that particular assignment. This kind of gives you a running total of everything that you have in the course and kind of helps you know how your grade's being tabulated along the way. Most often our students track through their courses in Populi by weeks. And so you'll see there's 5 weeks or 5 lesson folders, if you will. They become open as the course progresses. And so let's just go in here and look at week 1. Week 1, you'll see here are the objectives. There's our first assignment, the course expectation checklist. That will be the first assignment in every single course that you take. It's basically a simple 5-question true false, and really all the answers are basically true, but just make sure you read them. It's kind of a way that you acknowledge that you're here and that you understand you need to check your email, you understand what plagiarism is, etc. So that same course document we looked at a minute ago is embedded into the week, and so you really don't have to download it. You can, or you can just watch all of it right here, come back to it as regularly as you want to, and then each of these are links to the corresponding assignments. For example, week 1 devotional. You can go here, read the devotion, and then put in your comment. And this instructor has said, hey, you have to comment before you can see anybody else's comments, and so there would be a way for you to do that. Unfortunately, this course is closed, and so I cannot do that. But here on the side, you can see where my grade is going to come from. I have to do at least 1 comment. I have to do at least 2 replies, and that's how that course is set up. If we go back to the week 1, sometimes you'll see where it's not a devotional, it's actually or a discussion. Devotions and discussions work the same way, but maybe it's an essay And so what happens here is you will have information on the right that explains how to do it. And if this assignment was open, there would be a submit box here that I would click on and then upload my document, hit send, and it would go off to the instructor. When he or she grades it, I will get feedback at the bottom of the page, and I will get a grade over here when that assignment has been graded and returned to me. So that's lessons. Again, when you're in week 1, work through that week. At the end of the week on Monday at midnight, all these assignments close, and then week 2 is open. And some of the instructors go ahead and allow week 2 to be open along the way anyway. And that way, if you need to work ahead, you can do that as well. The discussion tab will let you get directly to a discussion if you need to do that. If you can't find it in lessons, you can always go to the assignments and scroll down and find the right title here. You can even sort it by type and look at all the discussions, week 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 devotional, or whatever the discussion title, or you can go into the discussions tab and do that as well. Finally, as for assignments, most courses will have, all courses will have the course expectation checklist. It's open for 3 days, the first 3 days of each term. And if you do not complete it on time before midnight on day 3, then you are subject to being dropped from the course and not receiving a refund, and then getting an F for the course, which may jeopardize future financial aid. And so make sure that you go in there early on and take care of the course expectation checklist. The calendar just shows you when things are assigned, not a big deal. And then the roster just shows you who else is in your class. I'm not going to put it up there. Shouldn't have put it up there, I guess, but I'm not going to leave it up there so that you can see. But as you're in the course, it allows you to communicate with your classmates, and that way you can track through the course appropriately. Well, this is Populi, and I wanted to show you one last thing concerning the library. And so let's click on the library for just a moment. If you click on the library in the black bar at the top, then you get to our catalog, and you can search anything in our catalog. These are, of course, books that are available on campus, and all of these books are accessible to you as well. As long as you live outside the immediate 30-mile radius area, then you can find one of these books in our library and then send the coordinates to it. Our librarian, let her know, and she will mail the book to you, and that way you'll have it for your course. Maybe you need it for an assignment, and then you're responsible for mailing it back. But just, you can go to our webpage and check out how that works exactly. The links are also very helpful here. There is a link to turn it in. Some of your instructors will use that, and we'll explain that. We do have a few helpful videos on Vimeo as well as on YouTube. We have a series of journal databases through EBSCO and Galaxy. Both EBSCO for us has a lot of religion and philosophy, so not necessarily all Christian, but religion as a whole. And so sometimes what you're looking for is in there. The Galaxy database is a really good database for theology, Bible references. You can go in there and look for any journal that has anything to do with Philippians 2, 5 through 11, and it'll pull up all that together. Then, of course, there are a few other databases that are helpful that we have put together for you. And then 2 really helpful writing labs. One is the Purdue OWL website, and then the other is a Turabian citation guide, which will help you to understand how to do Turabian format correctly. At the end of the day, your profile just tells you what you have out in circulation, if you have any late fines that are due, etc. And you can also go here and renew your books as necessary. Well, that's Populi. I know that's a lot to take in today, but encourage you to just go in here and start learning more and more about the course. I did want to show you one last thing. I'm sorry. I wanted to show you what a course is going to look like before it opens to you. And so hermeneutics doesn't open to our students until next week. So when you come in, there's not going to be a lot here. You're going to see week 1 is available starting next week. You're going to see a few things that are here waiting. But as you go into the course, you're going to see that the courses are actually locked. The test is locked. This course actually has quizzes. All of those are locked down. You cannot access it until the course opens. That's just the nature of what it is. We want you to enjoy your break, but you can go to the info page and get a bird's eye view at everything that's going on. So you can download your document and begin reading through it and begin thinking through it. But we want to make you wait until the first day of that term before you actually jump into the course. So that's it. Populi information guide. If you have questions, first go to the help tab. If you don't understand it after that, then please just email us and we'll be glad to help you. Have a great day and welcome to CCBS.